Hey everyone. This video is going to be a bit of a beginner's guide to the economy and just explaining how things work and really just practically how you can go about using your money effectively. So we're going to start with pistol round. In pistol round you always want to be buying body armor pretty much when you're starting out. Some people buy kits or flashes and things, but that's a bit more advanced. I'd recommend just buying body armor. Past that, I would make a decision depending on whether you win the pistol round or you lose the pistol round. If you win the pistol round, then you always want to buy up. You'll be able to buy up around about a FAMAS and a little bit of util if you're on a CT side. And if you're on the T side, you'll be able to buy maybe a Galil and a bit of util or an AK if you're lucky. Every round when you buy, you want to make sure that you're trying to get the best armor possible. In CS, that's very important. If you don't have head armor or body armor, it's going to make your aim a lot worse, because if someone shoots you, you'll get what we call aim punched, and that basically decreases your accuracy dramatically, so it would be almost like you're jumping while you're shooting. Now, if you lose the pistol round, you can choose to do one of two things. You won't have enough money to fully buy, and you'll be at an economic disadvantage, so the other team will have better guns than you, so that means that you can either choose to buy with a slightly worse weapons and assume your aim and your tactics going to outplay the enemies, or you can choose to take a save, an eco, and buy in the next round where you'll have around about a similar level of economy because it's only so high that they can get to. The pattern kind of follows out like that for the rest of the game. You're going to have a decision where either you've won the previous round, you'll be in a situation where your money will be good enough to buy pretty much all the time, and if you've lost the previous round, then you're going to either have to choose to eco, to full buy if you have enough money, or to force buy if you have less money than ecoing, and I'll go over that in a minute. But first, I'm going to have to show you what determines what you're going to be able to do dependent on the loss bonus, because that's one of the things that comes into the decision-making process. I can't be asked to transition this. Okay, so we're going to talk about loss bonus. You've got this thing on the right, which is quite clearly labeled loss bonus. You'll be able to see it on your scoreboard. You can see that by pressing tab when you're in game. You'll always have a loss bonus at value at some point, in every round in the game. It can take one of 5 values. The bottom one right now, so the T size loss bonus, is 0, and the top one, the CT's loss bonus, is on 4. This is determined by how many rounds you win back to back and the number of rounds you've been winning recently. And essentially what it says is that if you have 4 loss bonus, you're going to get a certain amount of money going into the next round. If you have 3, it's a different amount. If you have 2, it's a different amount. 1, a different amount. 0, a different amount. You can see these amounts on the screen, but they're not really too important. The main thing is you just kind of get a feel for how much it works. So this scenario is that you've come into a new round, right? You don't have enough money to full buy, which we'll talk about later, but we'll say the full buy money is about 41,000, 41k, 4.1k, so 4,100. That's enough to buy like a good rifle and body armor and a little bit of util maybe. So you don't have that much money. You need to make a decision. Should we buy in this one or should we wait for next round? Normally waiting for next round is a good idea, but there are some scenarios where you'll be able to wait, you'll wait for the next round and you've ecoed and everything and you still don't have 41k. And then it's like, okay, it's not worth saving. We need to make sure that we're going to buy this round. We're going to force buy. Forcing a buy when you have less than ideal equipment, and then we'll wait then we'll eco the next round and then we'll buy. It's a bit suboptimal, but it's better than ecoing 2 rounds in a row just to have a bit more money in the third one where it's not even that useful. So the loss bonus for each of the numbers are 1400, 1900, 2400, 2900, and 3400. These are you'll be able to see this when you get into the round. So if we do the minus math subtraction with that, the rule of thumb for this is if you're on 2 loss bonus, which will be quite common if you've just lost a round, because it's quite rare that you're on 0 loss bonus, you need to be at 2k. So if you're at 2k, everyone in your team or the majority of your team has 2k or above, then you should eco. If they have below 2k, you need a force buy. 2 or 3 members, you need a force buy. If you're on 1 loss bonus, it's a bad situation. You need to be on about 2.5k or above, otherwise it's just very shaky. If it gets a bit more lenient, if you go higher up, but generally 2k is a good number, because if you go down to that much money for anything on 2, 3, or 4 loss bonus, then you can be pretty safe that you're going to be okay in the next round. What people will normally do is they'll buy down to that 2k number while they're ecoing, so they'll buy like a pistol, a 5.7, or a deagle, or something like that, and try and catch T's off guard, or the other team off guard, and get some guns for themselves and make it a little bit more competitive, get some kills. It's always fun. But the idea is you don't go below that number, so you make sure you buy in the next round. And we're back. So I'm going to run through the 3 different types of buys, which are, once again, the full buy, the force buy, and the eco. For a full buy on CT side, you want to be buying in priority is make sure you have Kevlar. Then you buy either an M4 if you can, or a FAMAS if you can't. Then you want to be buying probably a little bit of util, maybe a smoke and a few flashes. And then you want to be buying a kit. That's the direction. So it's Kevlar, rifle, FAMAS or M4. Then you have, if you have more money, a small bit of util, so smoke and flash. And then kit, and then maybe some more util if you want to. Diffuse kit is going to help you a lot, and having a few on the team is always very useful. If you're going to be force buying on the CT side, you'll want to be buying as much as you can, but you're going to be in that lower limit with how much you can spend, just because you have less money. That means that you will be limited on what you can get, so maybe you'll get a FAMAS if you can, with maybe only the body armor and no head armor. No head armor means you can get one-shot headshot, but for the most part, if they have AKs on the T side, you're going to get one-shot headshot anyway, so it doesn't really change too much. Then you might also consider buying a deagle if you want to get a bit more utility, or maybe a kit. And also an MP9 is a very good option for the CT side. Most of these other guns are a bit troll, to be honest. So this one, MP5, AMP, P90, PB Bison are all pretty bad. FAMAS is okay. Scout is okay if you know how to use it. It's a bit like a mini sniper. And aside from that, everything else is kind of outside your price range if you can make it for a force buy. When you're ecoing, you want to just be doing as much as you can to stay inside like that limit, so you're staying above 2k or 2.5k depending on what your loss bonus is on, like I described earlier. Which means that you kind of want to be very careful with your money. So normally you'll only get a deagle or a CZ. You can switch this CZ to a 5.7, which I think you automatically start with when you start playing CS. And that's probably better for beginners just because it works better right now as well. It's just like the snapping turtle. Gets you a lot of headshots, pretty easy kills. You can also consider buying some Kevlar, but yeah, you just want to make sure that you're staying above that range so that you're not dropping below the 2k or the 2.5k, as I said earlier. On the T side, it's going to be quite similar. On the full buy, you're going to want to be buying Kevlar and an AK, and then buying a little bit of util, probably a smoke and a flash. There's no equivalent to the kit on the T side, so you have a bit more freedom with how much you are able to buy economically in terms of util, and, well, pretty much just util. That's pretty much it for the T side full buy. For the force buy, you want to be buying either a Galil, which is quite good, a Mac 10, which is quite good, or a Deagle or a Tech 9 in terms of your guns. The other ones are all pretty bad. You can get a Scout, but it's quite situational, and everything else is a bit more expensive, so you won't really be able to afford it. The SMGs, all the other ones are pretty bad as well. UMP is okay, but not great. Mac 10 really is your best bet, and it's only 1050, so it's really cheap. If you're going to eco, then you mainly want to be using Tech 9s, I'd say, on T side. You can get Deagles if you're feeling like you're going to hit some clips, but otherwise, Tech 9s are generally a safer bet. You can run and gun with them, and they're pretty nice to play with. They almost have automatic fire rate as well, so this is me spamming, but you can get quite a lot of bullets out in a short period of time. And we're back. So now this handily made flowchart will explain everything that I've just described to you and your decision-making process when you approach these rounds to making economic decisions. First question is, can I full buy? If it's yes, then you're always going to full buy 100% of the time. It's the best way to play the game. If it's no, it gets a bit more complicated. We're going to have a look at the loss bonus. Is your loss bonus 2 or more? First scenario, yes, it's 2 or more. Then it's looking at how much money your team has with all the players. So if 4 out of 5 people on your team minimum have over 2k, then you're going to be ecoing and you'll be full buying in the next, because that's what you want to do. If you don't have that many, maybe say 3 out of 5 people have over 2k, then you're going to have to force buy, because otherwise they won't have a good enough buy in the next round. We go back to the start. If it's no, I can't fall by. My loss bonus 2 or more. No, it's not. It's 0 or 1. It's going to be a difficult economic situation. You're probably going to want to force buy because the 2.5k is quite a high money threshold to go for. But in the odd scenario where you have lots of people with lots of money, you might decide to force. You might decide to eco and buy in the next round. So that should pretty much set you up with how to make good economic decisions and how to call the economy for your team. One of the most important things that I haven't mentioned until now is that the main thing is you want to buy with your team unless your team is being completely brain dead, because buying with your team gives you the best chance of having a coherent round where everyone's on the same page in terms of economy, and you don't have some people ecoing, some people buying, and then it's just going to fall apart. This is obviously a little bit oversimplified in the way that it's expressing the economy. There's like a few more routes that you can go to get a bit more creative with it. But for the first 500 to 1,000 hours in the game, this will be the whole of your experience just summarized, and you'll be better off than pretty much everyone you're playing against. So yeah, that's been me, and I guess I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.